But on Tuesday, 16-year-old Ma'Khia Bryant was shot and killed by Ohio police officer. And the case has sparked outrage, of course, across the country. The police claim she had a knife, and she did have a knife, but witnesses are disputing those claims. LeBron James tweeted and later deleted his feelings about the Ohio policeman. He put a picture of the policeman and wrote, "You're next, hashtag accountability." On Wednesday, LeBron clarified his statement because he got attacked, of course. He said, "I'm so damn tired of seeing Black people killed by police. I took the tweet down because it started being used to create more hate. This isn't about one officer, it's about the entire system. And they always use our words to create more racism. I'm so desperate for more accountability." What are your thoughts on the case, the Ma'Khia Bryant case, and LeBron's statement?
So for me, this is going to be an unpopular opinion. Let me
Mhm.
first start out by saying, condolences to Ma'Khia, and I just hate that this happened. I know coming off the heels of George Floyd and all the others that we're already in this Black Lives Matters energy, but this is not that. I do not believe in any way, shape, or form that this shooting was racially motivated. When we look at the facts of the case, she was in fear of being jumped by some girls. She was in the house. She calls the police. She comes outside. Officer pulls up and she is lunging at somebody with the knife. I am not suggesting whatsoever that she deserved to die, deserved to be shot. I'm simply saying that based on the situation at hand, the officer followed the training that they were given, which was aim for the largest body mass and hit twice, hit twice. That is police officer training. A lot of people have been saying, well, can you shoot? You should have shot her in the leg, or can you shoot her in the arm? And in a perfect world, that sounds great. But do y'all know how hard it is to shoot a moving target? For 1 second before I pass it on, I simply want y'all to take yourselves out of wherever you are and put yourself in the position of the family member of the girl in the pink. Y'all would be screaming, "Shoot that bitch, shoot her. Don't let her stab my baby. Don't let that bitch stab my sister." And if he did not, let's just say, for instance, he did try to shoot that girl in the leg and she ended up stabbing the girl in the pink, y'all would be hollering, he should have did something. He should have stopped her. This was just a lose-lose situation. It was unfortunate. I hate that we lost another little Black girl, but this is not that. And I think part of the reason that LeBron deleted that tweet was because after the case continued to develop, he kind of realized that he was a little wrong on this one.
And then before I give it to Al, they were adults standing around watching these girls fight. This girl being, she said, they were saying she's being attacked, and that we're just sitting there. And I need people, Black people. We talk about protect Black women, protect each other, Black Lives Matter, and that is 1000% true. So when we see our young sisters fighting, jumping each other, any kind of fight, there's grown ass men and women there that could have jumped in before it even got to that point. And
That
I
knew
feel
them.
like
That
that
could have
knew them.
possibly de-escalated the situation.
So before the cops came, who don't know who started it and don't know the backstory, and I'm not being sympathetic to the police officer, but I felt I had the same gut reaction, like, oh, that's messed up, it's racist. But really, when they slowed it down and I saw her lunging with the knife, I talked to my boyfriend about it. He's like, in the military, he's like, you say you end one life to save the other. I don't know what else that officer could have done, because I said the same thing: shoot with the arm, shoot with this, and he's like, you can't shoot with someone's arm. You know how hard that is to shoot for an arm, even though that police officer was a expert marksman. They did say that. Al, what do you think?
I think the two of you are crazy. In my opinion, I understand what you're saying, but this is a 15-year-old girl. And I think what we need to have more in law enforcement is training on de-escalating situations like this. Why didn't he use his taser instead of his gun? I think there are alternative methods that could have been employed or deployed in order to de-escalate this situation that did not lead to the death of a 15-year-old girl carrying a home steak knife. That's just my opinion. Now, I do understand that this isn't a BLM matter. I totally understand that, but I think that there's something that needs to be said or something that needs to be instituted to teach these cops how to de-escalate these situations on when to use a taser versus when to use a gun. I don't think anybody's happy about the fact that a young 15-year-old girl is now dead because of this unfortunate situation. That's my opinion.
Of course, Donald Trump had to infuse himself into the conversation because he's been taking off Twitter and he really wants us to know how he feels. He called LeBron James, he said his racist rants are divisive, nasty, insulting, and demeaning. He may be a great basketball player, but he's doing nothing to bring our country together. If this ain't the most extreme example of pot calling the kettle black, why don't you work? LeBron is responsible for getting the country together, keeping it together, the country that you divided with your divisiveness every single day. Why don't you worry about your countless allegations of sexual assault? Why don't you worry about how the New York Southern District is on your ass for fraud? Why don't you worry about the illegal payments you made with campaign funds allegedly to Stormy Daniels, the porn star that you raw dogged allegedly while you're married, your wife just gave birth allegedly? Why don't you worry about that when you speak on LeBron James, who so eloquently represents us in Black excellence in the best way possible? Why don't you shut your ass up and be the sore loser that we all know that you are? Go golf with your wide, sloppy ass, and don't worry about what we doing over here. We done moved on from you, Donald Trump. So shut it. Shut it.
Let me go next. I'm gonna grab my drink because I'm gonna pass it to Funky.
No, Claudia did that so well. The only point that I wanted to make when you were talking about the taser and stuff is that, it's very easy for us to have emotional responses when it comes to all of this stuff. But that man literally had a 3-second decision to make. And there was a video that's floating around right now of an officer pulling over a Black woman in some sort of sports car, whatever, Black woman, white woman, can't remember. And they tested this taser theory where he went to taser her and sister girl drove off. Like the taser just didn't stop anything or whatever the case may be.